Hey, this is Reid's Reviews. Today let's look at this RC30 loop station by Boss. This is a pretty cool pedal. It's kind of like having two loopers in one because it allows you to record two tracks independently, and on each of those you can also do an overdub. There's some other cool features we'll go over, as well as I'll play a little bit and then I'll give you my recommendation. First, let's look at the memory slots. There are 99, and if I want to start recording something, if I see, for example, if I go down here to 18, I see something blinking in one of these two, it means that there's already something recorded there. So if I want to go to 19, there's nothing there, and I will start recording 19. But before I begin, I need to tell it when it will start recording after I depress the left foot switch. There's three modes. One is to record immediately when I press down the left foot switch. The other one is to do a count in, which basically will beat for a measure and then it will start recording on the next measure. And then there's something called automatic, that if I depress the left foot switch, it will arm it and basically won't start recording until it hears a signal from the guitar. And at that time, it will reset the measure and it will start to play or start to record as it hears that signal. In order to set this, you can't have anything already recorded in track 1 or track 2. And you would push this button here, the tap tempo button, and hold it for a couple seconds. This AU stands for automatic, that's the count, and this is for recording immediately and when you push down the record foot switch. Like I said, I kind of like auto, so I'll put it there. Now, in order to start recording, all I have to do is depress this foot switch. You'll see that the blinking light here is essentially saying it's not recording yet, but it's armed, which means that as soon as it senses a signal, it will begin recording. Before I do that, though, let's also talk about the rhythm. There's the ability to add a rhythm part. You start that by the on and off switch there. And if you want to change the type or the sound, you can. And there's 10, and they're all pretty basic. They're all kind of useful, but pretty basic. I'll just stick to the first one. All right. Another thing too is if I can either change to 3/4 or 4/4, and in order to do that, I would hold this down, and you can see there it says 4 or 3. I'm going to leave it on 4. Okay, cool. So I believe we're set up. When I click this, it will arm it. Then as soon as I start playing, it will reset the measure and begin recording. Okay, so let's listen to it and see if it sounds okay. All right, cool. Now the next thing is we kind of should tell it how it's going to play back the track when I select the play button. There are a few different things I can set it to, and it not only changes or determines how many times something is played back when I press the play button, but it also determines what's going to happen when I hit the stop button, how quickly it will stop or in what way it will stop. And I can set that by pushing the track. Oh, one thing I need to do is that before I can set that, I actually need to record this. Currently it's stored, but kind of temporarily in memory. If I hit right, it will lock that in. Okay, so now that is stored, what I just recorded. If I want to tell it how to play it back, I'll push that button there. And this is kind of the standard. It will continually loop when I depress the play button. And when I hit stop, it will stop immediately. The next one is one shot. One shot will play the measure once and then stop. And if I select the stop button at any time during the playback, it will automatically or just immediately stop. This is fade out. FO stands for fade out. This will do the standard looping, continual looping, and then if I press the stop button, it will kind of fade out the sound. And so it won't be an immediate stop, but it will be kind of a gradual stop. and LF is kind of the standard looping, but will complete the measure or till it finishes when I select stop. So let's just do the standard loop continually, stop immediately when the stop foot switch is selected. Okay, so we can hear what we recorded. And now I can put something on top of it or overdub just by pushing this button down and playing. As soon as I push this button down, it's going to activate the record of the overdub. So I'll click it and I'll wait for the measure to end. Okay, I was a little bit off there. So if I want to erase the overdub, I can do that by pushing this down, and then that overdub should be deleted. Kind of nice. So if I want to do another one, I'll go ahead and push there. So I'll go ahead and hit stop, and I'll just write that so it saves it. Cool. So I've got something now in track 1 as well as an overdub. One thing I forgot to tell you that is if you do an overdub, you can remove it by pushing this pedal down for 2 seconds, which I talked about. But let's say you removed it and you wanted it back. As long as you don't do another overdub on top, you can bring it back by also depressing the play switch for about 2 seconds, and then it will bring it back. Let's go ahead and let's talk about how we get to record on the second track. We can do that in a couple different ways. If I select there and I start recording, it will record, but it won't play the track 1 while I'm recording. So it's recording, but you're not going to hear the track 1. So I hit stop. All right, it says that there's something loaded in there. So if I want to get rid of that, I'll push this down for 2 seconds. Boom. It gets rid of that. All right, if I want to listen to track 1 at the same time that I'm recording track 2, I'll actually start off on track 1, hit play. Now, I can go over into track 2 two different ways, either by pushing this or by holding this button down for about 2 seconds. Okay, so now it's on track 2, it's playing track 1, and it will also record whatever I play when I press this button into the track 2. Okay, so I'm just going to start recording on track 2. It will start recording whenever I play. So in fact, it's recording now, I'm just not playing anything, so nothing's being laid down. I'll go ahead and hit stop. I've got to hit stop twice actually when there's more than one track playing. And I will go ahead and write that. Cool. Now if I want to add some effects, there's a few different effects. Some of them are kind of funky. The first, I think 3 are kind of funky. Let's just listen to those. I can add them to they won't play on what I'm playing while it's recording. It will only play on the loop playback. You'll note too that right now it's not playing both tracks. In order to get to play both tracks back, and this is kind of an interesting thing. This is one of the things that I don't really like about this. If I want them both to play back at the same time, it's a little tricky. I haven't quite figured it out exactly. I just keep hitting, this, and then eventually they'll both go on at the same time. There's probably some madness to that. That's kind of one of the negatives that has bothered me, is essentially how to get both tracks selected at the same time. Seems kind of weird. Anyway, all right, so let's play. Now, even though both tracks are playing, track 1 is set to do any kind of overdubbing or whatever that I assign it. Now, if I want to add some sound, like I said, these are kind of funky, or some effect on top of it, I can select here. Kind of cool, but at the same time, so kind of far off. It would have been kind of cool if they were a little bit more standard, like, you know, some choruses and things like that. The last two, well, the tempo delay is probably the most normal. Okay, and then there's something called lo-fi. Now it sounds like it's applying that effect to both of the tracks. So it's basically just kind of a blanket effect application to whatever has been recorded on the tool. Kind of cool though. Okay, a couple more things is you can actually change independently the playback of each of the tracks. And if you wanted to, there's an XLR input in the back, and you can record a mic as well and control the level of the input for that feature. All right. Okay, so we've kind of covered the features, played it a little bit. Let me give you my my feedback, my recommendation on this. I'm kind of on the fence on this one, I guess. I think it's cool. It's simple, which is really neat because you won't get too confused by all the features. That's a plus. The 2 tracks is a plus. The weird effects, not so much a plus. The kind of glitch with trying to get these both to play at the same time, kind of weird. And other than that, I think it's just a pretty good, straightforward looper. But there are a lot of other loopers. In fact, the RC300, which is the big brother of this, is a pretty fantastic pedal. And I also have a review for that, so check that out. It's more expensive, it's bigger, it's basically 3 loopers rather than 2. But it seemed to be a little more fluid and had a lot more options with regards to how you can add effects to it. So if you're an effects enthusiast and you love guitars, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm constantly reviewing old and new pedals, and you'll be the first to know when I do. Hopefully this helped. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.